the coronavirus committee, because I think they already have too much. And this is specifically for the committee. We can only put our heads together to find out a way forward. But to me, it is not a matter for the ad hoc committees. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, we are burdening ourselves here with the issues that we have at hand, which is good. But Mr. Speaker, several other counties are really suffering from the floods. Yesterday, we saw what happened in West Pokot, in Elgeyo Marakwet, and even in Kisumu. Mr. Speaker, there's a lot of suffering for our people. I think I've gone to all offices. I've gone to the Minister for Devolution, Minister Eugene, but nothing is happening. Giving people food at this time alone is not enough. Where are they going to cook that food? Where are they going to sleep? Mr. Speaker, there's a lot that we should do as a House during this time that we are faced with so many issues, apart from the COVID and the locusts. Mr. Speaker, Kenyans are suffering, and most so those ones coming from the lowlands. They are really suffering from floods, and something should be done. I have done my best. Fellow members of Parliament from, say, Kisumu and any other parts that have been affected, we've done our best, but we can only talk. We cannot physically go and control the floods for River Nyando. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Finally, Senator Musuruve. Senator Ledama, you spoke. Okay, Senator Musuruve.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support this statement. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that the Chair Health has come up with a very important issue. In as much as he's a chair, it is also good for him to bring this issue on the floor of this House. We are in a situation where Kenyans are really constrained, and there are so many deaths, Honorable Speaker. And I want to say also, when someone is sick and is in hospital, the entire family of the sick person is affected psychologically, is affected also financially, economically, and you'll find that sometimes even paying bills becomes very difficult. So there's need for even hospitals to come up with an arrangement with the family to see how exactly are they going to pay the bills, because sometimes it can be very heavy and weighty on the families, and especially for chronic diseases like cancer, even diabetes. It is important for such patients to actually be cushioned. In as much as we are saying that this issue should not go to the Sakaja committee, I want to say that during this COVID period, Honorable Speaker, and with the strains that we have, there's need also to cushion family members who lose their lives during this time, so that our body does not remain in hospital for a very long time, because even family members need to be condoled. Even family members need to be psychologically comforted for what they're going through.
Is it a point of order, Senator Cherargei? Does she want to be informed?
Senator, my good friend Senator Daktari, is that the PS Mochacha said the government is incurring the cost of taking care of patients, and she had put that it should be 1 million to take care of until recovery. So I don't think there is a situation where it arises on any fees that is being incurred. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay, Senator Musuruve, wind up.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Now, if there's money aside to support patients, then there's need also for hospitals to ensure that, for the government to work with hospitals to ensure that a percentage of this money comes in to cushion the families of the dead. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next statement by Senator Mwaura. Ledama, I'll give you an opportunity when the leader makes his statement, because it's very similar. Senator Mwaura, you're not supposed to be migrating from, if you listened to my... No dispatch.
Oh.
No dispatch. Go to your seat.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker. We are living in very extraordinary times. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 48-1, I rise to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Education or for the March payee deductions for teachers with disabilities. In the statement, the committee should explain the reasons that informed violation of Persons with Disabilities Act, number 14 of 2003, which provides for tax exemption for all persons with disabilities in gainful employment. B, state whether due diligence was carried out in a manner in which deductions of the March salaries to teachers who are tax exempt was done. C, explain the mechanisms put in place to ensure that the April salaries and subsequent salaries are not affected. D, explain the measures being taken to help in the reinstatement of the tax exemption status in the TSC payroll for all the affected teachers. And E, explain the measures to ensure refund of the March payee deductions in full. Mr. Speaker, persons with disabilities are exempt from paying tax up to 150,000. If you're below 150,000, you are supposed not to pay tax. And many of the teachers are since exempted. But in the month of March, teachers with disabilities were shocked because TSC arbitrarily decided to remove that legal benefit, privilege that is under the Disabilities Act. And many of them suffered. You can imagine somebody who has actually planned their salary only to go to the bank and they find that the salary is zero because the pay is what they were actually planning after all the deductions. And so it has been very unfair. Thousands of teachers have been calling me to ensure that this illegality is actually not done. And so really, I'm calling upon this August House and of course through the relevant committee to ensure that the justice is done. In fact, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, this is the time that the teacher should benefit from the other 5% because pay as you earn was reduced from 30 to 25. So it should actually be more. But in the case of teachers with disabilities, they are actually suffering and they cannot even meet their expenses, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Senator, I think you've made your statement.
And finally, Mr. Speaker, we need to ensure that then we give Kenyans the opportunity to live a dignified life. In fact, even in terms of cost of food, so that even unga, which cost 90 shillings during elections, should actually cost less than that now, Mr. Speaker.
Next statement from Senator Sakaja.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 51. One, to make a statement on the issue for which the ad hoc committee is responsible, namely the request for statement by Senator James Orengo, Senior Counsel MP, regarding the burial of Mr. James Oyugi Onyango, a resident of Siaya County who reportedly died of COVID-19. Mr. Speaker, as senators will recall, this said statement was sought from the ad hoc committee on the COVID-19 situation during our sitting last Tuesday, the 14th of April. In the statement, the senator sought the following information: the cause of death of Mr. James Oyugi; 2, the reason and justification for the burial of the deceased at night in a shallow grave and without being placed in a coffin as the family had planned; 3, why there was complete disregard of the protocols laid out by the Ministry of Health concerning respect for the dignity of the dead, hours of burial and sensitivity to acceptable cultural practices and traditions; and 4, why there was no consultation with the family and community before the burial. Mr. Speaker, first I joined Senator Orengo and other senators who spoke on the matter, expressing outrage at the manner in which the burial was done. As a committee, we raised this matter with the CS for Health during our meeting on Saturday, 18th of April, 2020. The CS as well as the PS expressed their regret and conveyed their apologies on how the burial was undertaken. Mr. Speaker, despite that, I insisted that we need a written official response on top of the apologies. Of course, he tried to explain why it happened that manner, and that accountability and action will be taken. But Mr. Speaker, the response they have done is ready, but the copy I've seen is not yet signed, so I will not be in a position to give it to the House. I seek your indulgence to give it officially next Tuesday, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Okay, I agree with you. Since it's still work in progress, I think, and in the interest of time, we'll give you that opportunity to give a full report next Tuesday when we convene. Finally, on statements, the Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 47-1, I'd like to make a statement on the issue of national concern regarding the landslide that occurred on 19th April 2020 in Kerio Valley, affecting residents of Sigor constituency in West Pokot and Marakwet East constituency in Elgeyo Marakwet County. And particularly, Mr. Speaker, the place that was affected most is in the Elgeyo Marakwet County, and which is my ward in Embobut ward in Kipchumwa location, Kipchumwa sub-location. Mr. Speaker, recently, the country has been experiencing heavy rains as a result of the West Pokot, Elgeyo Marakwet counties have experienced massive destruction resulting from the landslide in the two counties. More adversely, Mr. Speaker, in the Kipchumwa and Chesegon Center, the landslide also left a trail of deaths, which are over 20 persons, Mr. Speaker. But of these 20 persons, Mr. Speaker, what really saddens me is that most of them are children, Mr. Speaker, of between 8 years and, Mr. Speaker, 18 years. Some of the children, Mr. Speaker, one family lost twins, Mr. Speaker, who are 8 years old. And you will find, Mr. Speaker, most of the numbers, actually there's a girl of 7 years in a place called Katlit. The twins from Kobil are 2, Mr. Speaker. We have another one of 10, of 8, of 9, of 11. And the oldest, Mr. Speaker, in this group was one person of 82, the other is 46, and the other, Mr. Speaker, is 81. Mr. Speaker, this tragedy, I have never seen something like this. As I said, this is my home area. This is my ward, where we've lost, to start with, 24 people. And Mr. Speaker, the impact that has occurred, and I've seen in media houses, many of the reports are only focusing on the destruction of the shopping center in Chesegon and Liter area. But I wanted to, for emphasis sake, to say the real impact where the landslide started on the islands, and where you know it very well because you are an administrator in that area. We have lost 24 people, and the news will be trickling in the fullness of time. We also lost, Mr. Speaker, police officers who were affected in that area because a police post was swept. Mr. Speaker, there is also over 15 persons who are still missing and accounted for. Residents are continuing to struggle with lack of housing, swollen rivers, destroyed roads that have left certain areas inaccessible, Mr. Speaker. In the past, reports have indicated that due to environmental degradation, the two counties are prone to landslides. However, residents who have built their livelihoods in this area have continued to live there, having nowhere else to move, Mr. Speaker. And for context sake, Mr. Speaker, in 2013, we moved many people from Embobut Forest so that we can conserve Embobut Forest. And so they went to ancestral land in the escarpments. And as a result of that, they put a lot of impact and pressure on the environment in the escarpment. That's why you saw many landslides, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wish to reiterate here that these people have nowhere else to live and have no other alternative land. I wish to commend the government for the quick efforts undertaken to manage the current situation. As a matter of fact, Mr. Speaker, the same evening, the leadership of Elgeyo Marakwet and West Pokot had a conference call with the Deputy President. And Mr. Speaker, the following day, the President called, among other people, myself, to assure us, Mr. Speaker, that we want, that the government is going to do everything possible to solve the situation. And therefore, I want to appreciate them because they sent, Mr. Speaker, government officials to the ground. However, Mr. Speaker, little or no effort has been made to account for over the 15 persons who are missing as a result of the landslide, and also that search and recovery has largely been left to the locals who are really equipped to undertake that exercise, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's so bad that the search that is being done by the locals, they find body parts, Mr. Speaker, which you find on hand, somebody's hand on one side, the leg, and so it's very traumatizing, Mr. Speaker. While I appreciate the efforts from the government, I believe that much more should be done to manage the situation, including putting in place measures to relocate population to safer grounds and upgrade the environment, Mr. Speaker, to prevent further incidents in the future from happening. It's for this reason that I wish to draw this matter to the attention of the Senate and appeal to the Standing Committee on Land, Environment, and Natural Resources to take up this matter with the national government and, one, explain the measures being undertaken to ensure that all persons who reside in the affected areas are fully accounted for. Two, state the measures being undertaken to find alternative land to resettle the families that are displaced annually. Three, state whether there is any form of compensation that will be granted to the families and victims who are accounting huge losses as a result of the destruction of property and loss of lives. Four, state the steps being undertaken by the government to rebuild the schools that have been destroyed, such as Liter Girls High School, which has completely been destroyed, Chesekon Primary School, and Cheptany Primary School in West Pokot and Elgeyo Marakwet, respectively, and the roads that have been washed away as a result of the landslide. And finally, state the measures that are being undertaken to upgrade the environment in this area to ensure that these incidences do not occur in future. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I want to thank my colleagues who have shown interest in supporting these people. I will be coming back to them formally, together with Senator Pokisho, Mr. Speaker, to request for further support so that we can supplement the efforts that are being done by other well-wishers and the government of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Senator Kwamboka.
Thank you,
Senator
Mr. Speaker.
Cheriot. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to read on this statement of the Majority Leader. First of all, I want to pass my condolences to the families which are affected for Elgeyo Marakwet and the West Pokot. Mr. Speaker, it is very sad during this COVID, the curfew times, that such a disaster is happening. It is very sad that we've lost even children. And Mr. Speaker, I don't know where this bill of disaster management bill, which was being handled by Senator Mutula.
I forgot to say I'll limit you to 3 minutes each.
Senator Mutula and Senator Sakaja. It is a high time that this bill has to be given justice so that we can know these people who have been affected. How can they be compensated, or where should they be taken at this particular time? Because some of them, they had businesses over that place. How can they run their businesses, Mr. Speaker? So, Mr. Speaker, it is very sad, and I pass all my condolences, and I know all shall be well with those two counties. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Ledama, then Cheriot.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you. First, I want to thank the Majority Leader for bringing this statement. I truly empathize with the people of Elgeyo Marakwet and West Pokot because of the challenges. Mr. Speaker, sir, I truly...
You're out of order. Can you wear your mask?
I'm doing it. Mr. Speaker, sir, I empathize with the...
Senator, you may need to shave your hair so that it facilitates your... Okay, proceed.
Mr. Speaker, sir...
What's your point of order, Senator Sakaja?
Mr. Speaker, even as I interrupt my good friend, Senator Ledama, Mr. Speaker, when you gave guidelines, I think you should have specified the type of mask, because this is a dustpan mask for sweeping, you know, and that is why he can't express himself. Maybe you should specify which type of masks members should wear. Otherwise, people will come with all manner of contraptions, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wambua, what's your intervention?
Mr. Speaker, I plead with the chair to maybe require surgeons at times provide Dama with the right mask, Mr. Speaker, so he can address us properly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, I think the... The Sergeant at Arms has been providing masks. Let us stick to masks that are friendly.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'll try. I think I was feeling so sorry for the people of Elgeyo Marakwet that it got so emotional, because this happens all the time. And I think instead of waiting for us to ask ourselves what the government can do, it is about time that we should start engaging these institutions so that we can be able to prevent this from happening, or rather when it happens, we can be able to at least support our constituents. When I saw that and I saw the majority leader flying there, I could only imagine of the time when in Narok, the floods will take everyone, and there's nothing we can do. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, during this time of Corona, and just like the earlier statement which was raised by, I think, Senator Mbito, in terms of people's bodies being detained in hospitals, I think we need to really ask ourselves whether there are any measures that this House can immediately take to ensure that we support these people. Because in the case of a hospital, and I'm sure there are others who will be taken to the hospital, this might happen again such that you see that their bodies are detained there because they cannot pay. I know for a fact that hospitals are in business and they're out to get profits. But in this case, when there is a disaster, I think really some of the money for COVID-19 should actually be allocated there, because if people are not able to even maintain that social distance, they might end up contracting this disease. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, in summary, I want to encourage the majority leader to reach out to us also in person so that we can be able to assist. This is a time when we should all give. This is a time when we should all find a way that we can help our brothers. And then, the most important one, plant trees. When we plant trees, we save the environment, and we ensure that tomorrow, when there is a landslide, there's something that will be able to hold that soil from moving. I thank you.
Senator Cheriot, then Senator Falhada.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I pass my condolences to the people of Elgeyo Marakwet and West Pokot County following this very unfortunate disaster that has befallen upon them. Mr. Speaker, this is what we were referring to a few minutes ago with the statement from Senator Moses Wetangula, that there are certain regions of the country that are considered to be more special than others, that 24 Kenyans can die, and more than 48 hours later, or even going to 72, not a single high-ranking government official, either a minister or maybe a permanent secretary, has showed up in the region to try and give guidance to the people that are leading the rescue efforts. It tells you the kind of discrimination that certain citizens of this country continue to live with. And it's really unfortunate, and I hope that the people that occupy these offices in the executive do find their conscience wherever they lost it and treat all citizens of this country as if they are equal. Number two, Mr. Speaker, this unfortunate incident hasn't only happened in Elgeyo Marakwet. Last evening, in the county that I represent in this house, Kericho County, and Senator Rose Nyamunga alluded to it earlier, on our boundaries between Kericho and Kisumu County, there were incidences of mudslides too, and we lost 4 young children, and there are other rescue efforts that are ongoing, so we do not know what will be the final tally. And as we speak up to this particular time, Mr. Speaker, like I have said earlier, we are still awaiting on national government to get its acts together so that they can at least help these people. One of the duties that I did when I came to this house this afternoon, I went to the back chamber to pick a phone call from the same citizens who are telling me that the county commission arrived and told us that government doesn't have any assistance. The only news that I brought you is that you're supposed to bury your dead within 24 hours in follow-up to government directives. That is shameful, Mr. Speaker. And I hope that those who are in authority will put their act together and assist the citizens of this country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Falhada.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I thank Senator Murkomen for bringing this statement, and my condolences to the family and friends of West Pokot and Elgeyo Marakwet. First of all, Mr. Speaker, I thank the government who was there quickly to respond to this matter. And they really need to do more. In 2022, we've started with a lot of disasters. We've started with the drought.
2020?
2020,
Oh,
sorry, 2020.
Okay.
My mind is in 2022. 2020, we've started with the falls, we've started with the disaster, we've started with the drought, we've started with the locust, the flood, COVID-19, and many more to come, and the landslide that happened. And the recycle will continue. And I want the government.
Senator Narok, you are becoming a health risk. Can you, please, it's important that you keep the mask on. Proceed, conclude.
The government is lacking preparedness, Mr. Speaker, and they should have learned from the disasters we've come through. And I believe there is more disaster to come, and the government should do more. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to start to convey my deepest condolences to the many families through the Elgeyo Marakwet Senator, and say it is almost last year also we had similar incident where almost 60 lives were lost. And I hope when time comes we will be able to assist in one way or another. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, Senator Aaron Cheruiyot has said also in Tindred sub-county where we border with Kisumu County and Kericho County, we have noticed also mudslides, and there are so many issues that is happening. My own appeal is that even as the Committee on Lands and Environment, Mr. Speaker, discusses this issue, I noticed that the leader of majority talked about alternative land when he was in Chesogon area. So I also plead, especially in Kipkelion, Aero Kobura village in Nyando, somewhere in Chepkaroi, in Tindred sub-county, we can be able to provide even, there are so many idle lands that belong to ADC, lands that we can use these lands and allow people to live until, so that we can rehabilitate. And finally, Mr. Speaker,
So good afternoon. We shall be taking you through the National Emergency Response Committee on Coronavirus, an update on the current country response measures as at 21st April 2020. This is day 40 of our country's response, and this is our 35th brief. Fellow Kenyans, coronavirus has continued to cause destruction in every part of the world. As of today, the global COVID-19 pandemic cases stand in excess of 2.5 million, with approximately 600,000 recoveries and 100 clinical Kenyans who hold the view that this disease is not real. This is very disturbing, particularly in light of the growing numbers of people who are infected. As we continue this fight, we note that there are some of us who continue to disobey the measures and regulations announced by the government. I would like to remind you that we are in a war situation against an enemy that is not a respecter of age, status, gender, race, and religion. Some of our young people are deliberately breaking curfew regulations due to the false belief that they cannot catch this disease. And we would like to remind you young people, including myself, that we are actually able and susceptible to get this disease. In the early days, we cautioned you on surfaces that are likely to be contaminated in the aid of the transmission of this virus. Among such surfaces include groceries in supermarkets. We would like to acknowledge efforts made by many outlet stores by providing sanitizers to shoppers and ensuring that no shopper is allowed into a shop without wearing a face mask. However, we are concerned that it is important that cashiers handle the goods correctly, especially during payment at the counters. These are also areas that can be easily contaminated and that can lead to infections. And therefore, we are urging all supermarkets to devise innovative ways to address this issue. The same should also apply to banks, particularly in the aspect of different people sharing pens in the banking halls. Fellow Kenyans, this is a long journey that we cannot walk alone, and I want to thank all the individuals and corporates who have so far contributed to this containment effort. I particularly want to thank the Kenya Air Force for deploying 2 aircrafts that have been flying banners, aiding in our communication, with banners stating that we should stay at home. I would also like to thank our healthcare workers for their continued efforts, and particularly today, where the Kenya Editors Guild Association, together with the Kenya Medical Association and the Association of Nurses, has initiated a campaign dubbed Saa Sita. In this campaign, at midday, every Wednesday, we will all stop and clap for all our healthcare workers. And this is a campaign that is being rolled out in different countries across the world. This is to appreciate the role of healthcare workers and the crucial role that they're playing in this time of COVID-19. Let me also acknowledge the contribution of mobile network providers, and in particular, our national carrier Safaricom. Through its foundation and other donations that have come so far, they've contributed close to 10 million Kenya shillings for thermal scanners, and they've also helped us in expanding our screening capability. Additionally, Safaricom will be supporting healthcare workers and is in the process of rolling out a free communication package. This package will include 3 months of internet bundles and airtime for our healthcare workers and will form part of the comprehensive care package for our healthcare workers. Yesterday, we mentioned to you that the strategy that has been formulated and agreed upon globally as the most effective way of fighting this disease rests on 4 pillars. That is, testing, isolating, treating, and tracing. We have ramped up our capacity in all these 4 pillars. However, these parameters only become useful when preventive measures are put in place, such as hand washing, social distancing, general hygiene, and quarantine. And therefore, the only way we can succeed is when we have each and every one of us taking personal responsibility. I therefore would like to urge all our people to continue observing these simple but very effective containment measures. Today, our coronavirus situation is as follows. In the last 24 hours, we have tested 545 samples, out of which 15 persons have tested positive for coronavirus disease. This brings to the number 296 total number of confirmed cases in the country. 11 are Kenyans, while 4 are foreign nationals. And out of the 15 positive cases, 7 are from Mombasa, 6 from Nairobi, and 2 from Mandera County. None have any history of recent travel. With regard to gender, 7 are males, 8 are females. The 15 are aged between 19 to 75 years of age. 6 are from our quarantine centers, and 9 were picked up by our surveillance teams. And this is a clear indication that the infection is increasingly growing within our communities. And it is therefore very critical that we observe very strictly the measures that we've put in place with regard to containment. I am glad to inform you that 5 patients have recovered and discharged. We now have a total of 74 recoveries. A total of 2,851 contacts have been monitored, out of which 2,121 have been discharged. 730 contacts are being followed up at the moment, and a total of 14,417 samples have been tested so far. I thank you. Thank you. Thank you for those questions. I'll begin with Nancy's question. This is a question that we actually discussed yesterday. Indeed, as a country with expanded lab capacity, we do have many more labs that are able to test. However, we are facing a challenge with regards to some of the sample kits, the nasopharyngeal swabs and oropharyngeal swabs that are utilized for taking of samples. And therefore, that is why you're seeing our numbers in terms of samples tested reducing. We have, however, engaged our supply chains to be able to avail these samples so that we can ramp up our testing capacity. An important issue that has been raised, indeed, it's true, we are seeing an increase in cases in Mombasa. Yesterday, we recorded 7 cases. Today, again, we've highlighted a new increase in number of cases. And this is exactly pointing out to the fact that we have established local transmission of this virus. And therefore, communities do need to take charge. Some of the measures that we've been putting in place, we've noticed, may not be well adhered to by members of the public. And the only way, and we've insisted and reiterated, the only way we can flatten this curve is if we each take personal responsibility in doing this. And I'll relate this to the issue of curfew. Curfew is not there because it's trying to punish Kenyans, but curfew is a mechanism of containment for this virus. And so again, we do request Kenyans to adhere to these restrictions and to obey the rules. And for those who are flouting the rules, it's important that you understand, even by the very nature of you flouting the rules, you're putting your own life at risk, that of your family, that of your loved ones, and that of the police who are here to assist us in this response. We are engaging with our security personnel, one, to roll out guidelines for them and, capacity building that enables them, one, to ensure that they are all masked every time they're conducting their surveillance activities, that they are using masks, and that they're also practicing hand hygiene, and that they also have sanitizers. Again, it is important to note that we are all in this together. We are all employing a whole of government approach, and we expect citizens to take personal responsibility as we try and effect the containment of COVID-19. Indeed, we've received reports from KMTC. We saw the news circulating through social media, and we've activated channels through the Ministry of Interior who are following up on this issue, and we'll be able to update you once all the information is collected and the investigations are undertaken.
Out of a trip we had to Canada, and we visited the Canadian Disaster Management and Response Center in Vancouver. That was a shining example of how you can manage disasters. And I want to join you in asking that that bill should not be sitting in the lower house anymore. Thank you.
Senator Mwaruma, then Omanga will conclude.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa hii fursa kuungana na maseneta wenzangu kumshukuru seneta kiongozi walio wengi katika seneti Mheshimiwa Kipchumba Murkomen kwa hiyo taarifa aliyotupatia kuhusu janga lililotokea Elgeyo Marakwet na Pokot ya Magharibi. Kusema ukweli, tunaomboleza na wale ambao walipata haya majanga, na tunaomba serikali ya kwamba wapate kujizatiti na kusaidia wale waliokumbwa ama walioathirika katika hili janga, ili wapewe chakula, wapewe nyumba, hata kama serikali itatengeneza hema, ili wale wananchi wasiendelee kuteseka pale. Na tumeambiwa kwamba wengi walioathirika sana ni watoto na kina mama. Na kusema ukweli ni kwamba katika ule muundo wa kisheria hatuko sawa sana, lakini najiunga na wenzangu kina Senator Sakaja kwamba kama kuna njia tunaweza leta muundo wa kisheria wa kusimamia majanga Kenya, basi itakuwa ni jambo la muhimu sana. Na vile vile najiunga na nakubaliana na wenzangu ya kwamba wale wengi wameathirika pale watahitaji huduma za kiafya. Wakienda pale basi wasilipishwe na watibiwe bila kulipishwa, kwa sababu hili janga vile lilivyo na vile janga la corona lilivyo, tunaomba serikali zetu za county na za serikali kuu wasilipishe hawa watu walioathirika katika haya majanga. Na hili janga si katika hizo county mbili peke yake. Kuna Tana River kule pia kuna mafuriko, kuna Taita Taveta pia nyumba zimeanguka, na kama kuna mpangilio wowote wa kusaidia haya magatuzi ama wananchi walioathirika, basi zifanyike kule Elgeyo Marakwet na Pokot, lakini pia Tana River, Taita Taveta na kaunti zile zingine zilizoathirika. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Finally, Senator Manga.
Asante Bwana Spika, ningependa kutoa rambirambi zangu kwa familia za West Pokot na Elgeyo Marakwet ambao walipatwa na hili janga la mafuriko. Bwana Spika, mchana kabla nije hapa kwa habari za mchana, niliona kwenye televisheni kwamba hata kule Trans Nzoia kuna daraja ambazo zimechukuliwa na hii mafuriko. Kule kaunti ya Kericho kuna janga hili la mafuriko. Pia kule Kisumu Ahero watu wameweza kuama na mizigo yao na wako hata barabarani kule wanaongojea usaidizi wapelekwe mahali pali wanaweza kuwa wakikaa. Na hii janga ya mafuriko Bwana Spika imekuwa ikitoka mara kwa mara, na tunajua sehemu ambazo zinapata hili janga kama Murang'a ni pahali inakuwa inapata hii janga ya mafuriko mara kwa mara. Vile seneta mwenzangu amesema kutoka Taita Taveta pia Tana River na Taveta inakuwa inapata hili janga mara kwa mara. Kama nchi tunafaa kuwa kwa sasa tumejua sehemu ambazo zinapata hii janga la mafuriko na tutafute suluhu ya kudumu. Sisi kama maseneta tunasema kweli tutasaidia wale watu wa West Pokot na Elgeyo Marakwet, lakini sisi kibinafsi haiwezi tosha. Lakini kama nchi, kama serikali tunafaa kuwa na sheria ambazo zinaweza kuwa zimewekwa, mikakati imewekwa ambayo itaweza kuwa inasaidia hao watu, na janga hili likitokea tunaweza jua vile ya kuwasaidia. Mimi nikiwa shule tulikuwa tunasikia hiyo masiku ilikuwa ni Rais Moi ambaye alikuwa anaongea maneno ya mnyonyoko wa udongo. Ilikuwa inaitwa mnyonyoko wa udongo. Mbona tupande miti tuzuie mnyonyoko wa udongo. So ningependa kusema Bwana Spika ni kwamba tunafaa pia kuwarai wananchi wenzetu tuendelee kupanda miti, tuache kukata miti, tuache kumaliza forest zetu, ndio tuzuie hii janga ya mafuriko na tuzuie mnyonyoko wa udongo. Asante Bwana Spika.
Nakupongeza kwa kujaribu. Okay, as we conclude on that, the information I have is that they have so far recovered 15 bodies, 20 people are still missing, and KDF have joined the efforts in recovery. So the committee will work on that. Next order.
Order number 8, motion, reduction of publication period for the Pandemic Response and Management Bill, Senate Bills number 6 of 2020.
What's your point of order, Senator Leader?
Mr. Speaker, you didn't commit the statement to the relevant committee formally.
Oh, okay. It's committed to the Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources. And I'm sure they have had, they need to move with speed because of what is going on there. Yes, what's your point of order, Senator Mauro?
The same case, Mr. Speaker, you didn't commit my statement to the relevant committee.
That one of teachers. Education, I think it's committed to the chairman, to the Committee on Education. And the one on land, environment, on Marakwet, we need an interim report by Tuesday when we resume. Next order, Leader of Majority.
get a second? Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the motion that pursuant to Standing Order 134, the Senate resolves to reduce the publication period for the Pandemic Response and Management Bill, Senate Bill number 6 of 2020, from 14 days to 4 days. This is a procedural matter. I don't want to waste time and ask the Deputy Minority Leader to second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I stand to support, to second this motion, Mr. Speaker. We are alive of the fact that we need to fast track this motion so that we cushion Kenyans during this COVID-19 pandemic, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's barely 2 months after the first case of COVID-19 was discovered in Kenya, and we've seen Kenyans being affected in the rural areas, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, it is important, Mr. Speaker, for us to consider the passage of this motion so that we reduce the publication period to enable this bill to come into enforcement, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, extraordinary circumstances require extraordinary measures, Mr. Speaker. COVID-19 presents an extraordinary circumstance, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to second this bill and urge members, this motion, Mr. Speaker, and urge members to support it. Thank you.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question, which is that pursuant to Standing Order 134, the Senate resolves to reduce the publication period of the Pandemic Response and Management Bill, Senate Bills number 6 of 2020, from 14 days to 4 days. I put the question, because that pursuant to Standing Order 134, the Senate resolves to reduce the publication period of the Pandemic Response and Management Bill, Senate Bill number 6 of 2020, from 14 days to 4 days. As many of that opinion say aye. As many of contrary review say nay. The ayes have it. Next.
Order number 9, motion, reduction of publication period for the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2020.
Leader.
So, Speaker, again, a procedural motion. I beg to move the motion that pursuant to Standing Order 134, the Senate resolves to reduce the publication period of the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 7 of 2020, from 7 days to 4 days, and request the Senate Majority Whip to second.
Mr. Speaker, I second.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question, which is that pursuant to Standing Order 134, the Senate resolves to reduce the publication period of the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 7 of 2020, from 7 days to 4 days. I put the question, which is that pursuant to Standing Order 134, the Senate resolves to reduce the publication period of the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 7 of 2020, from 7 days to 4 days. As many of that opinion say aye. As many of a contrary view say nay. The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 10, the Community Health Services Bill, Senate Bills number 5 of 2020, first reading, and a bill for an act of Parliament to provide a framework for the delivery of community health services, to promote access to primary health care services at the community level and reduce health disparities between counties, to provide for the training and capacity building of the community health workforce and for connected purposes.
Okay, next order.
Order number 11, the Pandemic Response and Management Bill, Senate Bills number 6 of 2020, first reading. A bill for an act of Parliament to provide a legal framework for a coordinated response and management of activities during a pandemic, temporary measures and relief during a pandemic, and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 12, the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2020, first reading. A bill for an act of Parliament to provide for the equitable allocation of revenue raised nationally among the county governments for the 2020-2021 financial year, the responsibilities of national and county governments pursuant to such allocation, and for connected purposes.
Okay, honorable senators, for the convenience of the House, I wish to rearrange the order paper so that we start with order number 14 and 15, then come back to order number 13 for continuation, for resumption of debate. Next order then. Order number 14.
Order number 14, motion, report of the Mediation Committee on the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 11 of 2017.
Mr. Chairman. Leader, are you ready? I think as you may need a bit of time as you reorganize order. Take your seat, Chair. I have a communication and I'll give you an opportunity. So, honorable senators, as indicated in today's order paper, 3 bills have been read a first time. Standing Order 141 requires that having been read a first time, a bill be committed to the relevant standing committee. Accordingly, the following bills are hereby committed to committees as follows. A, the Community Health Service Bill, Senate Bills number 5 of 2020 is committed to the Standing Committee on Health. And B, the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 7 of 2020 is committed to the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget. Honorable Senators, Standing Order 142 provides that despite paragraph 1, the Speaker may direct that a particular bill be committed to such a committee as the Speaker may determine. Consequently, I hereby direct that the Pandemic Response and Management Bill, Senate Bills number 6 of 2020, be committed to the Ad Hoc Committee on the COVID-19 situation in Kenya, and pursuant to Standing Order 145, the 3 committees are required to facilitate public participation on their respective bills and take into account the views of the public when the committee makes their reports to the Senate. I thank you. Okay, shall I proceed?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the interest of time, Mr. Speaker, I'll read the resolution of the committee. The Mediation Committee considered the contentious provision of the County Government Amendment Bill 2017, and the following amendments to the bill were adopted by the committee. Clause 8, that Clause 8 of the bill be amended in the proposed amendment by Section 25 in the new subsection 2 by deleting the words and the County Gazette appearing immediately after the words Kenya Gazette. Rationale. The Mediation Committee agreed with the National Assembly amendment since the law on the County Gazette is yet to come into force. Clause 11, that Clause 11 of the bill be amended in the proposed amendment to Section 31 by deleting the proposed new paragraph A and substituting.
What's your point of order, Senator Zani?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to check that this motion has been appropriately moved before it's discussed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move the motion that the resolution of the Mediation Committee
just read the way it's written, that the Senate
thank you, Mr. Speaker, that the Senate Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move the motion that the report of the Mediation Committee on the County Government Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 11 of 2017, that the Senate adopts the report of Mediation Committee on the County Government Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 11 of 2017, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 31st March 2020, and pursuant to Article 113 of the Constitution and the Standing Order 116.3 of the Senate Standing Order, approve the mediation version of the bill. Mr. Speaker, due to interest of time, may I proceed by reading, Mr. Speaker? Clause 8 of the bill be amended in the proposed amendment on Section 25 in the new subsection 2 by deleting the words "and the County Gazette" appearing immediately after the words "Kenya Gazette." The rationale, Mr. Speaker, was that the Mediation Committee agreed with the National Assembly amendment since the law on the County Gazette is yet to come into force. Clause 11, that the Clause 11 of the bill be amended in the proposed amendment to Section 31 by deleting the proposed new paragraph A and substituting thereof A, may dismiss a county executive member if the governor considers appropriate and shall give reasons for dismissal. The rationale was the Mediation Committee agreed with the Senate amendment that the county executive committee member is a nominee of the county governor and should be dismissed procedurally, but the governor shall not be required to give reasons. At the national level, pursuant to Article 132 of the Constitution, the President may dismiss a cabinet secretary, the Attorney General, the Secretary to the Cabinet, Principal Secretary, High Commissioners, Ambassadors, and diplomatic and consular representative, and any other state or public officer whom the Constitution requires or empowers the President to appoint or dismiss. In such instances, the President is not required to give reasons for dismissal. Mr. Speaker, in Clause 15, for Clause 15, that the bill be amended by deleting the Clause 15 and substituting thereof Section 44, the Principal Act is amended by deleting subsection 2 and substituting thereof. 2, a person shall be qualified for appointment as a county secretary under subsection 1 of that part if that person is a citizen of Kenya, holds a degree from the university recognized in Kenya, has at least 10 years relevant professional experience, has at least 5 years experience in leadership position at senior management level in a public service or private sector organization, and or meets the requirements of leadership and integrity as prescribed in Chapter 6 of the Constitution. B, inserting the following new subsection immediately after subsection 2. 2A, the governor shall, for the purpose of competitive recruitment of a county secretary under subsection 2, constitute a selection panel. 2B, the selection panel shall constitute of the following persons. K, a chairperson not being a public officer, one person from private sector, an advocate of High Court of Kenya who is a member of Law Society of Kenya, N, an accountant who is a member of Institute of Certified Public Accounts of Kenya, and or one person from an association representing workers. 2C, the provision of Section 58A shall, with most modified as shall be necessary, apply to the recruitment of county secretary. 2D, upon interviewing the applicant of the position of the county secretary, E, the selection panel shall submit to the governor the names of 2 applicants who qualify for appointment as county secretary, and F, the governor shall submit the name of the applicant to the county assembly for approval for appointment at county secretary by the governor. E, the county secretary shall hold office for a term of 5 years and shall be eligible for reappointment once. 2F, the county secretary shall be an ex officio member of the county executive committee with no voting rights. C, inserting the following subsection immediately after subsection 3. 3, the county secretary shall be removed from office on the following grounds. K, inability to perform functions of the office arising out of physical or mental infirmity, incompetence, gross misconduct, bankruptcy, or violation of the Constitution. Before removal under subsection 3, the county secretary shall be informed in writing of the reason of intended removal. 3C, subsection 3A, 3B, the coalition of appointment, county secretary may be dismissed by the governor. The rationale, Mr. Speaker, the mediation committee agreed on the modification version of the National Assembly amendment. Mr. Speaker, the minutes are attached and the schedules are provided for. I beg the majority leader to second.
Majority.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to second the report of the committee. As a member of that committee, Mr. Speaker, and originator of the bill, most of the suggestions that were given by this House, Mr. Speaker, have been adopted. The others, also a number of them given by National Assembly, two or so, have already been adopted, including the absence of a county printer. We had to remove it from the bill because there is no county printer. And Mr. Speaker, we fashioned the section that deals with, Mr. Speaker, the hiring of county secretary, Mr. Speaker, to tally together with the other existing provisions of the County Government Act. So, Mr. Speaker, in the interest of time, and to ensure that we are able to address the business that is in the order paper, this is a bill that we had discussed and passed. So the changes which are there, we are the ones who suggested the changes. A few were suggested by National Assembly, and there was a consensus. So I don't think we should spend more time because we are not reopening debate on the bill as it was. Mr. Speaker, I beg to second.
Okay, honorable senators, I now propose the question. Because that the Senate adopts the report of the Mediation Committee on the County Government Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 11 of 2017, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 31st March 2020, and pursuant to Article 113 of the Constitution and Standing Order 161.3 of the Senate Standing Orders, approves the mediated version of the bill. And just like the leader has said, I think we are not reopening debate because this has already been discussed, and therefore direct that the bell be rung for, I put the question, sorry, that the Senate adopts the report of the Mediation Committee on the County Government Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 11 of 2017, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 31st March 2020, and pursuant to Article 113 of the Constitution and Standing Order 161.3 of the Senate Standing Orders, approves the mediated version of the bill. And since this okay, for the convenience of the voting, we'll do order number 15, then I'll give the order. Yeah. Order number 15. Yeah.
Order number 15, motion, report of the Mediation Committee on the County Government's Amendment number 2 Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2017.
Okay. Okay, Senator Nderit.
That the Senate adopts the report of Mediation Committee on the County Government Amended number 2 Bill, Senate Bill number 7 of 2017, read on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 31st March 2020, and pursuant to the Article 113 of the Constitution and Standing Order 161.3 of the Senate Standing Order, approves the mediation version of the bill. Mr. Speaker, the Mediation Committee considered the contentious provision of the County Government Amendment number 2, Bill 2017. The following amendments to the bill were adopted by the committee. Clause 2, that Clause 2 be amended in the proposed amendment to Section 123A by deleting the proposed Section 8, subsection 8, and substituting thereof following new subsection 8, where the Commission does not recommend the suspension of the county government, the President shall, within 14 days of receipt of the report of the Commission under subsection 7, submit to the Speaker of the Senate and the apex intergovernmental body, A, the report and the recommendations of the Commission, and B, the petition of the suspension of the county government. B, in the proposed subsection 9, by deleting the words whether or not appearing in paragraph A and substituting thereof the word that. 9, where the Commission recommends the suspension of the county government, the President shall, within 14 days of receipt of the report of the Commission under subsection 7, submit to the Speaker of the Senate, A memorandum stating the President is satisfied that justifiable grounds exists for suspension of the county government. B, the report and the recommendation of the Commission. And C, the petition for suspension of the county government. Mr. Speaker, the rationale was the mediation committee agreed with the National Assembly amendment since there is need to separate the instances where the President is satisfied with the recommendation for a suspension and when the President is dissatisfied, as in Clause 8, the timeline of 14 days was agreed to. C, by inserting a new subsection immediately after the proposed subsection 9A, where the President is not satisfied that justifiable ground exists for suspension of the county government, the President shall, within 14 days of receipt of the report of the Commission under subsection 7, notify the Speaker of the Senate and the apex intergovernmental body for his dissatisfaction. The rationale, Mr. Speaker, was the mediation committee agreed with the Senate amendment with regards to submission of the report and the petition, and the National Assembly amendment with regards to the timeline of 14 days and the submission of the report and the petition to the apex intergovernmental body. Mediation Clause 13, upon authorization of the suspension of the county government by the Senate in terms of Article 192.2 of the Constitution, the President shall, within 14 days of receipt of the Senate resolution and by notice in the Gazette, suspend the county government for a period not exceeding 90 days or until the suspension is terminated earlier by the Senate in accordance with Article 192.4 of the Constitution. The rationale, Mr. Speaker, was the mediation committee agreed with the Senate amendment with regards to use of the word authorization, since it is consistent with the language of the Constitution in Article 192.2. Further, the mediation committee agreed with the National Assembly amendment on providing a timeline of 14 days within which the President is required to act on the Senate resolution. D, by deleting there in the proposed section 14, where the Constitution does not recommend the suspension of a county government, or whether the President is not satisfied that justifiable ground exists for suspension of the county government, the Senate may consider any other recommendation of the Commission not relating to whether or not the county government should be suspended and make a determination on the way forward with respect to those recommendations. The rationale, Mr. Speaker, was the mediation committee agreed that this amendment by the Senate be rejected, since the Senate is not restricted by the Constitution or standing orders to make recommendation or determination on other matters which are not related to the suspension of the county government. Clause 3, that Clause 3 of the bill be amended by renumbering the last provision under the proposed new section 129 as subsection 8. Upon the termination of a suspension of county government, A, the interim county government board appointed under section 126 shall stand dissolved, and B, the governor, the deputy governor, and the members of the county executive committee, the speaker, and the members of the county assembly shall resume their functions and continue to receive their benefit in full from the date of termination of the suspension, and shall hold office for remainder of their term. Rationale, the mediation committee agreed with the National Assembly amended to the bill in order to address the error. Mr. Speaker, the minutes are attached schedules, and I would schedule and the agreed version of the bill. I request the majority leader to second.
The Speaker, again, I'm privileged to second this bill, which was sponsored by Senator Mutula. The Speaker, again, the committee had very robust discussions. Most of the issues we canvassed were, Mr. Speaker, technical issues that were referencing to other bills, but also, Mr. Speaker, was to ensure that the bill captures also the aspirations of the people of Kenya. And so I don't want to say much, just to say, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to second. And Mr. Speaker, this bill is really, really necessary for dealing with matters of boundaries, so that then the IEBC and other institutions can be able to apply. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, order, senators. I now propose the question, which is that the Senate adopts the report of the Mediation Committee on the County Government Amendment number 2 Bill, Senate Bill number 7 of 2017, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 31st March 2020, and pursuant to Article 113 of the Constitution and Standing Order 161.3 of the Senate Standing Orders, approves the mediated version of the bill. Just like we did with the other one, I think it was already discussed. I therefore put the question, which is that the Senate adopts the report of the Mediation Committee on the County Government Amendment number 2 Bill, Senate Bill number 7 of 2017, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 31st March 2020, and pursuant to Article 113 of the Constitution and Standing Order 161.3 of the Senate Standing Orders, approves the mediated version of the bill. And since this is a matter, both of them, 14 and 15, are concerning counties, we shall go to voting. So I order that the bell be rung for 2 minutes. Okay, direct that the direct that the bus be closed. Okay, honorable senators, I will put the question for order number 14, which is that the Senate adopts the report of the Mediation Committee on the County Government Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 11 of 2017, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 31st March 2020, and pursuant to Article 113 of the Constitution and Standing Order 161.3 of the Senate Standing Orders, approves the mediated version of the bill. So we'll proceed to voting using the new guidelines that I gave. So the clerk will call out the names.
Senator Adan Dulo Fatuma, Isiolo County.
Vote yes.
Senator Ali Abdullahi Ibrahim. Senator Cherarke Samson Kiprotich.
Votes yes.
Senator Cheriot Aaron Kipkirui.
Yes.
Senator Haji Mohammed Yusuf, Garissa County.
I vote yes.
No.
Valada
It is the
votes
leader.
yes.
I know this is the first day, so there's a bit of confusion, but the leaders are the ones reading because that's why you signed. Proceed, Senator.
Senator Hargura Godana, Marsabit County.
Votes yes.
Senator Kamar Margaret Jepkoech Wasingishu. Senator Kangata Irongo, Muranga County. Senator Kibiru Charles Rubenson, Kirinyaga County. Senator Kihika Susan Wakarura, Nakuru County.
Votes yes.
Senator Kimani Wamatangi Paul, Kiambu County.
Votes yes.
Senator Senator Kindiki Kithure, Tharaka Nithi County. Senator Kirinyaga Ephraim Mwangi Maina, Nyeri County. Senator Langat Christopher Andrew, Bomet County.
Votes yes.
Senator Lelegwe Steve Tumbesi, Samburu County. Senator Linturi Franklin Mithika, Meru County. Senator Lloyd Tiptip Anwar, Lamu County. Senator Mahamud Mohamed Maalim, Mandera County. Senator Mbito Michael Malinga, Trans Nzoia County.
Votes yes.
Senator Moi Gideon Kipsielai Towet, Baringo County. Senator Mpayei Philip Salau, Kajiado County. Senator Murkomen Onesimus Kipchumba, Elgeyo Marakwet County.
Votes yes.
Senator Mwangi Paul Githiomi, Nyandarua County. Senator Nderito John Kinywa, Laikipia County.
Votes yes.
Senator Ndwiga Peter Njeru, Embu County. Senator Pogisio Samuel Losuron, West Pokot County. Senator Sakaja Johnson Arthur, Nairobi County.
Votes yes.
Senator Wario Golich Juma, Tana River County.
Sorry. Yeah.
Senator Linturi Franklin Mithika, Meru County.
Votes yes. Vote yes.
Senator Imana Malaki Charles Ekau, Turkana County. Senator Kabaka Boniface Mutinda, Machakos County.
Vote yes.
Senator Kajwang Moses Otieno, Homa Bay County.
Vote yes.
Senator Haniri George, Vihiga County. Senator Madzayo Stewart Mwachiru, Kilifi County. Senator Malala Cleophas Wahungu, Kakamega County.
I vote yes.
Senator Mbogo George Ochilo Ayako, Migori County. Senator Mogeni Eric Okongo, Nyamira County.
Vote yes.
Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr., Makueni County. Senator Mwaruma Jones Mwashushe, Taita Taveta County.
Vote yes.
Senator Mwinyi Haji Mohamed Faki, Mombasa County. Senator Olekina Ledama, Narok County.
Vote yes.
Senator Ongeri Samson Kegongo, Kisii County.
Vote yes.
Senator Orengo James, Siaya County. Senator Outa Frederick Otieno, Kisumu County.
Vote yes.
Senator Wako Sitswila Amos, Busia County. Senator Wambua Enoch Kio, Kitui County.
Vote yes.
Senator Wetangula Moses Masika, Bungoma County.
Vote yes.
Okay, these are the results. Abstentions 0, nays 0, ayes 24. The ayes have it. Okay, honorable senators, I now put the question for order number 15, that the Senate adopts the report of the Mediation Committee on the County Government Amendment number 2 bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2017, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 31st March 2020, and pursuant to Article 113 of the Constitution and Standing Order 161.3 of the Senate Standing Orders, approves the mediated version of the bill. Yeah, and proceed with the vote. Okay.
Senator Adan Dulo Fatuma, Isiolo County.
Vote yes.
Senator Ali Abdullahi Ibrahim. Senator Cherarke Samson Kiprotich.
Vote yes.
Senator Cheriot Aaron Kipkirui.
Yes.
Senator Haji Mohamed Yusuf.
Yes.
Senator Hargura Godana Marsabit County.
Yes.
Senator Kamar Margaret Jepkoech Wasingishu County. Senator Kangata Irongo Muranga County.
Yes.
Senator Kibiru Charles Rubinson Kirinyaga County. Senator Kihika Susan Wakarura Nakuru County.
Yes.
Senator Kimani Wamatangi Paul Kiambu County.
Yes.
Senator Kindiki Kithure Tharakanithi County. Senator Kirinyaga Ephraim Mwangi Maina Nyeri County. Senator Langat Christopher Andrew Bomet County.
Yes.
Senator Lelegwe Steve Tumbesi Samburu County. Senator Linturi Franklin Mithika Meru County.
Yes.
Senator Loitiptip Anwar Lamu County. Senator Mahamud Mohamed Maalim Mandera County.
Yes.
Senator Bito Michael Malinga Trans Nzoia County.
Yes.
Senator Moi Gideon Kipsielei Towet Baringo County. Senator Mpayei Philip Salau Kajiado County. Senator Murkomen Onesimus Kipchumba Elgeyo Marakwet County.
Yes.
Senator Mwangi Paul Githiomi Nyandarua County.
Yes.
Senator Ndiritu John Kinywa Laikipia County.
Yes.
Senator Ndwiga Peter Njeru Embu County. Senator Pogisio Samuel Losuron West Pokot County. Senator Sakaja Johnson Arthur Nairobi County.
Yes.
Senator Boy Isa Juma Kwale County.
Yes.
Senator Imana Malachi Charles Ekal Turkana County.
Yes.
Senator Kabaka Boniface Mutinda Machakos County.
Yes.
Senator Kajwang Moses Otieno Homa Bay County.
Yes.
Senator Haniri George Vihiga County.
Yes.
Senator Madzayo Stewart Mwachiru Kilifi County. Senator Malala Cleophas Wahungu Kakamega County.
I vote yes.
Senator Mbogo George Ochilo Ayako Migori County.
Yes.
Senator Mogeni Eric Okongo Nyamira County.
Yes.
Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr. Makueni County.
Yes.
Senator Mwaruma Jones Mwashushe Taita Taveta County.
Yes.
Senator Mwinyi Haji Mohamed Faki Mombasa County.
Yes.
Senator Olekina Ledama Narok County.
Yes.
Senator Ongeri Samson Kegengo Kisii County.
Yes.
Senator Orengo James Siaya County.
Yes.
Senator Outa Frederick Otieno Kisumu County.
Yes.
Senator Wakos Sitswila Amos Busia County.
Yes.
Senator Wambua Enoch Kio Kitui County.
Yes.
Senator Wetangula Moses Masika Bungoma County.
Yes.
Honorable Senators, these are the results. The abstentions, 0. The nays, 0. The ayes, 33. The ayes have it. Therefore, direct that the bars be drawn. We go back to order number 13.
Order number 13, motion, the first and second progress reports of the Ad Hoc Committee on COVID-19 situation in Kenya.
Senator Sylvia Kasanga was on the floor. So, yeah?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I proceed to finish seconding the motion that was passed by my chair, Senator Sakaja, let me start first by giving my heartfelt condolences and share my empathy.
You have 15 minutes, eh?
Thank you. With the victims of the mudslides. And I pray that Senator Majority Leader, when the help is needed, we shall be there to support you. Mr. Speaker and fellow senators, already a week has passed since we started moving this motion. The committee has sat for a total of 22 meetings, Mr. Speaker, as we speak, and a lot more has moved on. So in fact, I want to make a request, Mr. Speaker, that going forward, we give a bit more priority to these reports as we bring them on the floor of the table, because there are a lot of things that members need to be seized on, and there's a lot of work for senators to do in this pandemic period. But I must thank you on behalf of the committee for fast-tracking the bill, and I pray that members, you prepare accordingly for the bill debate, and also see what members of public are also giving us, because we've appended them to the reports. So my prayer is that you look through them, because there's a lot of information that we are sharing. As we speak, Mr. Speaker, we've had meetings to do with the first thematic area, which I was trying to highlight on the issues of health. Already we have met all frontline workers from their various associations, from the Kenya Medical Association, the nurses, the pharmacists, clinic officers. We met all of them, including community health workers. And I have to thank you, Senator Zani, for your bill, because serious gaps were identified when we spoke to all these practitioners, and especially the community health workers, considering they're the first liners right at the county. And at a time like this, which senators, we must admit that the only best way to fight this pandemic is through prevention. Senators, this is where you come in as leaders, because if we don't sensitize our constituents on the issue of prevention, we will not be able to handle what comes to us. Mr. Speaker, we have met with the Council of Governors and the County Assembly forums. A lot of gaps have also been identified there, Mr. Speaker, and I'm really encouraging members, even as a third report comes, you want to see what these people have said to us and where they have sought your attention as senators for your action. Mr. Speaker, we also met with pathologists, we met with National Influenza Laboratory, we met with the Kenya Health Federation. Lastly, we met with the CS of Health on Saturday. We had a very good meeting with him. He was able to address a lot of the issues that were brought up from this first thematic area, Mr. Speaker. And, we must commend him for the work that he's doing and, of course, give support. He did make several requests to senators and members of parliament on where to come in to help, and especially on the issue of monitoring and doing your legislative duty of making sure your governors are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Mr. Speaker, there are a lot of gaps there. A lot of counties are still not waking up to the response as should be expected. He did highlight 5 counties that are doing very well when it comes to this response. Mr. Speaker, we have everything in the report, and you have to laud the counties that are doing something about it. Even just now, I've seen the Senator of Machakos has posted that he doesn't want truck drivers to stop for long along the highway in Machakos area, and it's because truck drivers have been identified as a high-risk group of people. Mr. Speaker, we also met with KEMRI. KEMRI today gave us a lot of information. We now know about tests. We now know what they are doing about research, as well as production of, various things, including hand sanitizers and testing kits, quick, rapid testing kits. So we've learned a lot, Mr. Speaker, and a lot is going on. Actually, you'll be very proud to be a Kenyan today when you know what our first-line responders are doing, Mr. Speaker. We also met with the Ministry of Labor under the second thematic area. So my fellow senators, I want to just go back to the thematic areas that we had highlighted, and I cannot stress more on the importance of you following the 5 thematic areas that we highlighted, because that is the way we are engaging with stakeholders, both government and private as well. So for matters of health, which were very lengthy, we have canvassed quite a bit, and we've heard from the ministry, and we are still going back to engage further with other stakeholders in the hope that we shall meet again with the CS, and also as we debate the bill, any other issues that may arise, then we can canvass them. On the second thematic area, members and Mr. Speaker, just one second. The second thematic area was economic and finance issues, Mr. Speaker. And here again, we got a lot of views from members of public and from the senators in the committee as well. And we are looking to engage with the CS of the Treasury, amongst other stakeholders, to look forward to seeing what we can do to cushion Kenyans when it comes to issues of economics. Mr. Speaker, part of the conversation we had with the CS of Labor, he did highlight what they're doing in the Ministry of Labor. And when we meet with the CS of Treasury, we are also looking forward to engage a little deeper. But a lot has been canvassed in this thematic area in the bill. So if you read about the issues of taxation, when it comes to the very contentious issue of landlords and tenants, as well as employers and employees, all that is canvassed in the bill, Mr. Speaker. It is an area of key concern to a lot of Kenyans. There's been a lot of misconception, but when you read the bill, senators, you will understand where we are coming from. Issues of KRA that were brought up by a lot of members of the public, we've also canvassed them, and we are also looking forward to your engagement on that. On the third thematic area, which was the social, public order, and human rights, again, a lot of views came out on this part, Mr. Speaker. Vulnerable persons and groups, we did engage the CS of Labor on this issue and what they're doing about it. He did tell us that the Inua Jamii, they're using the Inua Jamii platform to disburse the monies that the president spoke about, some 8-point-something billion shillings. We went into detail about that and the gaps that are still there. And your senators, you're requested also to be vigilant and to make sure what is happening in your counties is what the same report that we are receiving, and to give as much support as you can to make.
What's your point of order, Senator Musurube?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Now, I would like to inform this committee that when it comes to issues of persons with disabilities, there are so many who are not registered with the National Council, and during this COVID time, there is a possibility that they'll be missed out because there is a lot of outcry out there from persons with disabilities that they have not really been factored in and they're not really being reached out. So there's need to come up with a specific way that will ensure that persons with disabilities are actually captured during this time.
Is it a point of order? Is it information or
it's information for the committee.
You are indirectly contributing. Okay, Senator Sylvia.